Some people bought a ticket to go see Becky Lynch. I don't think there's one person buying a ticket to go see Lyra Velcro. And it's nothing against her. It's bro. A lot of this has to do with the booking and the positioning and the story that they're. A lot of it has to do with that.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this very studious episode of the Wrestling Outlaws. I am here with former WCW World Heavyweight Champion Vince Russo, and I'm here with EC3 reading his book very studiously.
Well, you know, we have a published author in our midst.
Ooh, we do.
There.
We do. Yeah.
He's a man of many words, and nobody seems to like him but us.
Yeah, his name is Vince Russo, the published author. How many books you got? 2, 3?
I got 2, man, and I got a contract for the third one on my computer, bro, that I have not signed yet.
Oh, I thought you said on my computer I did not leave in France like me, and you were kind of sticking it to me.
Yeah, no.
Well, if it makes it any better, EC3, the quality of your picture is superbly better than before.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so this might be a blessing in
maybe
disguise.
stick with the phone?
Yeah, I think so.
Bonjour.
Yeah, laptop webcams are trash anyways, man.
Well, what I need is a studio like Dr. Chris with the 3-camera shoot. What I need is a studio like Uncle Vince with all these cool pictures hanging behind me. When I need some technology, I need the mic. It doesn't need to be plugged in anything. It just needs the aesthetic, you know what I mean? That's what I need.
You did. Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, let's get into the topics at hand. Let's talk about John Cena's retirement. EC3, your experience of working with him.
Yeah.
Do you think he's the greatest of all time, as Michael Cole christens him to be?
The GOAT? I mean, it's such a weighted subject and so hard to vary. I mean, how do you really consider who in professional wrestling is the greatest of all time? Championships, though are earned, are not necessarily earned through the toil and the hard work and the blood and the sweat of competition, but more so, you know, the diligence and the patience and the ability to perform in high-level situations and entertain the masses. Do you classify box office, you know, draws around the world, pay-per-view buy rates, money made, merchandise sales? Do you qualify it as community work, you know, what John did, giving back with like Make-A-Wish and things like that, becoming that face of that franchise? Is John Cena the greatest of all time? For the sake of the headline, John Cena is the greatest of all time, and that's why I want to kick his ass.
Wow.
In reality, though, like, it's very hard to quantify, but I think John, and, you know, his work rate, a measure of what is the greatest of all time is, if he's not he's one of, based on every one of those schematics and parameters. What I think really quantifies greatest would maybe be what they give back to the industry on the way out. So, did John Cena leave the business better or worse than when he started? I think he left it better, and that's saying a lot.
Indeed. Very nice. Vince Russo, man, what is your verdict on John Cena being the GOAT?
Yeah, Chris, you and I always have that a conversation with who has that conversation with us?
Who?
Online, the one guy arguing for
Roland and
Rollins, yeah. Listen, bro, I think Cena was great. I never got to work with Cena. That was a regret of mine. I think Cena was great. I think Cena is a pro's pro, no question about it. But I'm always going to give that honor to Hogan. You know, I mean, what you know, and you know, like when EC3 just said, did he leave the business better than when he entered it? I mean, Hogan brought the wrestling business into pop culture, man, you know, and he made wrestling cool. He presented wrestling to the world. I don't ever think there'll be anyone greater than him, but Cena was absolutely a bona fide star, bro. No question about it.
EC3, how do you think Cena how do you think Cena left the business better than what it was before he entered it?
Yeah, like, and I don't think that's something that's necessarily measurable by current product or, you know, what you would see looking at it from just a fan's perspective. What I mean by what John did, leaving the business better, is that he's one of the very few true leaders I've seen in the business. Like, I saw how Undertaker acted, but obviously he was at the tail end of his career when I was there, but I saw how John acted as a leader, as the kind of guy who, before the national anthem even played, this guy has 8 segments. He's probably got 1 million autographs to sign. He's probably got a bunch of other business on hand he has to do. But before that, when the national anthem would sing, he would park himself right in the gorilla position and he'd watch the entirety of the show. To the point of he has a 20, 30-minute match, or he's got a 2-segment promo with a bunch of bells and whistles, where he sat there the entire time. He would never leave that seat, maybe to take a whiz. He would never leave that seat and like go and rehearse or get like into the mindset, because he was so focused on how everybody else was contributing and how he, as a leader, can contribute to them, serve them to be better for the product overall.
So you would say that John Cena is one of the most hardest working superstars, wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
From your experience. Yeah.
Very easy for me to say that. It's like, it's either him or me, but he made way more money. So I'll give it to him. No,
Good
but like, man, really, being on hand, how he acted molded a lot of the mentality I have, and I have a great admiration and respect for him as a leader. So
well respected.
Check out BrainBuster, the daily quiz that tests your WWE knowledge with winning streaks, stats, and more. It's time to see if you're up for the challenge.
Let's talk about CM Punk being asked about AJ Lee returning. He said it's really all on her. She's busy. I'm super proud of her. She's doing her own thing. I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about this stuff. She's got a production company started up. She's writing TV, movies, all kinds of stuff. And I believe he also said in the presser that he's her biggest fan or something to the sort. Good for him with giving shout outs to his wife there. What do you think about this, EC3? Do you think we may see AJ Lee back in the WWE? If only a Royal Rumble guest spot or something of the sort.
yeah, I think you can see a cameo or two or a short run. But I think because when we're in the wrestling bubble and we're talking about wrestling, we're on a podcast discussing wrestling and innuendo and rumors and speculation, where it's people are narrowly minded, focusing on the wrestling aspect, where sometimes talented individuals and people who have accomplished something within this industry go on and try other things and find new passions and new projects and new ambitions. So I didn't know she was involved in all that. It sounds super cool. So I could see, I mean, she doesn't need to come back. There's no need. It would only be a want. If she wants to, I'm sure the door is open for the duration she'd want. But at the same time, if she's totally fulfilled, conquering something new, kudos to her. That's awesome.
Yeah. Vince, what do you think?
Well, I think the need could be, I don't think the need is monetary, that's for sure. But I think the need could be, bro, if Punk is healthy when he comes back and he's going to be on the road a lot, the need could be wanting to be with your husband on the road. I mean, that could be the need. I don't think it's got anything to do with money. I'm sure they are both very, very well off. And also, bro, from what, the business he says she's trying to break into, bro, that's not easy. I mean, anybody can start a production company and you can start writing TV shows and all this and that. And, anyone can do that. To get them sold is something completely different. So it's not easy. But like I said, bro, if he's going to be on the road, away from home a lot, and they want to be together, I mean, so there may be other reasons, bro, other than money.
Yeah. With WWE's philosophy of bringing back legends, the Mickey Jameses, the Trish Stratus's, the Litas, it's usually a short run just to put someone over. What would be the use of AJ Lee if she came back into the WWE, even on a 6-month basis, Vince? What do you think they would do with her?
Well, bro, I think for me, the most important thing is you got a new toy if you want to really include that in the Drew McIntyre feud.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's where I think, because, bro, they've done a lot with McIntyre and Punk. If you want to add a new wrinkle to that, that's definitely like the way to go. So, I mean, that's how I would utilize her. I mean, come on, bro. What, they're going to put her in there with Zoe Starks and have her put Zoe Starks over? And that's going to mean what? I mean, Chris, come on. The last time they used Alita and Trish, what did they do for anybody? And it's not their fault. It's not their fault. But if you want to have a new wrinkle and have her around and use her with Drew, I mean, I could definitely see that.
Yes, because he has the bracelet with the dog and her name on there, so that would make perfect sense to slide her into that feud.
Well, I swear to God, if I'm writing that television,
What do you got?
freaking,
What would you do?
Drew's kidnapping a dog.
Yeah,
He's holding the dog hot. He's
Very
feeding
nice.
the dog bad food like ice cream and all kinds. Bro, I am doing that in a heartbeat. Tomorrow, I am doing that. Bro.
Yeah, stalking the home
Yeah.
and doing all of it. Yeah.
I put him on the beach with the dog, using the dog to pick up girls, taking him to the dog park, going to the dog bars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like totally exploiting the dog for his own personal benefit.
Yes.
I mean, you
So
don't
you
want to
can
torture
see-
a dog on TV. It's like rule
True.
number 3.
Yes, that'll be cruel.
You don't mess with dogs.
Yes, indeed. So you can see her more in the storyline angle, but not so much in ring work and ring competition.
I don't know what EC3 thinks, but me, you know, as a writer, yeah. I mean, I think there's a ton of potential there.
Where do you put her in the ring against, though? Who do you put her in the ring? Who's there? Like, what would make sense as far as another female talent that would make sense to be a part of this feud?
Bro, don't they just have who's the girl? Fire and Ice? Aren't there 2 girls from Glass Now? Aren't they from Glass
They're
Now?
Scottish, yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn and Drew together. What a
Bro, they're the champs. They're the tag champs, bro. What are you talking about, man?
I mean, what a fall from grace from who had it before. It's relatively a non-factor now as far as the championship's concerned. They don't know if they're faces or heels. WWE is booking them just blandly. No one knows who the heck they still are. They're still struggling to get lower thirds. No one knows who this team is. If they were together with Drew McIntyre,
However,
I think that would pull them down more, man.
well, hold on for a second. If AJ Lee comes in on her own,
Yeah.
and then Drew kind of uses these 2 as hit women,
Okay.
that can elevate them. That can definitely elevate them, because right now they're the tag champs and they're not even on the radar.
No.
So Drew could elevate them, bro, in that instance.
I think only if he gets elevated, because they haven't really done a good job with making him elevate. He's become a glorified, enhancement talent to a lot of these main event stars, man. He doesn't win
Yeah.
So you want to talk about John Cena? You see the big match John, as JBL would call him. Man, what the polar opposite of Drew McIntyre and the way that he's been booking main event matches, man. So I think they need to do a better job of making him a more of a threat, in order to bring him in. Now I would be open to the Fire and what you call them, Fire and Ice, Fire. What are they? Fire and Dawn, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, Fire and Ice, as you would call them. It would be an interesting way to at least integrate them into something because they're a part of nothing now. So yeah, that would be more interesting where they are now. So
wait, hold on. They're the tag champs and they're a part of nothing.
Yes, they're not.
Yes, pretty much, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I only watch premium live events, so I don't know.
Yeah, they won in Scotland because they're Scottish, and then
Drew didn't.
Drew didn't, of course. Yeah, he was a part of the main event, didn't win. But yeah, they won, and then after that, just nothing. I mean, they interrupt some people backstage every now and then just to peek their head onto the screen, and no story, no story, no nothing, man. Just a useless talent that they're doing with them right now, unfortunately. So we shall see if Fire and Ice, as Vince would say, is a part of that.
Bro, let's believe somebody. I was I was doing my Thursday thrashing on YouTube this morning, Chris, and somebody, I must have said on our show, if Lyra Velcro ever gets over, I will retire from wrestling. Yeah. And some dude was actually asking me when I'm going to retire because Lyra Velcro is so over. Bro, EC3, can you do me a favor? I think this is lost in wrestling, bro. Honestly, I think this is lost. The meaning of over. I don't think people understand what being over means, bro. As one of the boys, and you striving to be over and larger than life.
Yeah.
What can you please explain to them the definition of over, bro?
Yeah, I would say being over, simply put, is being an attraction, having value. The value of a talent is based on what they can draw, and people paying money to see you would be over, as opposed to like the brand is over, who's actually over as far as the roster. And this is another harken back to Cena, but like who's really over on the roster now. Like Roman and the Bloodline thing was over, and that was the only thing that kind of like seemingly was beyond just the brand. So over is being an attraction. Over is, if you're over, you're getting attention in one way or another.
But I think too, bro, you hit a big key with, are people buying tickets to see you? Bro, when you were on top at TNA and you were the champion of TNA and you had the act going with Spud and Dixie, people are paying money to see that. Okay, I Chris too. People listen, man. I'm not a big fan. People paid money to go see Becky Lynch. There's no question about that, bro. Some people bought a ticket to go see Becky Lynch. I don't think there's one person buying a ticket to go see Lyra Velcro. And it's nothing against her. It's bro, a lot of this has to do with the booking and the positioning and the story that they're getting. A lot of it has to do with that. Yeah. But right now, go ahead, ECT. Right now, bro, I don't think one person's buying one ticket to go see her. Go ahead, bro.
Harkening back to subject one, Mr. JC John Cena, I remember I was at a Raw, and I kind of would, for special moments, I'd try to kind of get into the audience area just to kind of see it live as opposed to watching it in the back on a television. And Stone Cold came back. So I'm standing out there because I want to see Stone Cold's entrance. I mean, to me, that's over. That I had this opportunity to see a guy enter. Like, I'm in the business. I kind of know the guy, but I still want to see it. And, like, that means he's over. But I find my way into the audience, and then, the glass smashes. The place goes freaking banana, like absolutely nuts, and like it's something you felt. And I was like, that's over. And I look behind me, and Cena's there, and I remember he goes, "That's what it means to be over," and walked back. So,
yeah.
Why don't you think? I mean, along those lines, EC3, like it goes to show, like I always say, it's the total package when it comes to building a character. It's the music, it's the gear, it's the catchphrases, it's all of those things that encompasses overness. from watching the product. Why is there such a lack of emphasis on even music that's geared toward someone specific? I interviewed Jim Johnson a few years back, man, and he was talking about how nowadays, the music, you can basically remove it from one wrestler and just place it on another one. Because it doesn't have that type of unique feel of, I got to feel who this character is, and I'm making music based on that. It seems like they just get a bunch of stock music, bring it in, and just place it on people. And so why do you think there's a lack of emphasis, EC3, on the WWE really focusing on the total character design of someone to make them be more potentially over in this day and age?
I don't think it's on the WWE. I think it's on the talent not taking the initiative to work and strive to something. When I went back to NXT, the new musicians, forgive me, I forget who they were. We collaborated. Yeah, we collaborated a little bit, where we talked about the old team I had at TNA, where I had to do something different, but I came at them with a couple ideas, like sounds like this, maybe sounds like this, and I wrote lyrics. The lyrics they actually used like 80% of. So I was very much pushing forward, having a conversation, collaborating, because I know how important that is, where maybe a talent gets called up. And there's not a manual for like, you get called up and you should do these things. You kind of are left to your own devices. So if a talent gets called up and then, oh, here's your song, and if they played it, they probably went like, well, I don't really like it, but they're giving it to me and I don't want to rock the boat and I don't want to say anything. Yeah. Or they're not taking the initiative to be like, hey, I thought this would be great. Who can I talk to about music? So-and-so. Okay, here, I thought this would be great. I had this idea, so I ran it through the freaking AI can make a song in 5 minutes.
Right.
I ran this through AI, like, what if it sounded like something like this, but it's actually good? So I think it's just a talent thing, taking the initiative, because I don't think you're going to get yelled at if you put forth the effort to present yourself better. Like, maybe it's not in the cards. Maybe they're like, no, that's your song. You're going to use it. No, we're using that. But I just don't think the talent, they're so narrow-minded and then eggshell walking and focused inward wrestling bubble where even though they may not care for the music, they're not going out of their way to doing something about it. Everything you can do in that industry, in that company, you can do. You can take the initiative and put yourself out there to at least try to get it done. If it doesn't get done, at least you know that you tried. But a lot of people don't even try. Entitlement or taking what is given, okay, that's fine, whatever. Or maybe they're just not as creative as us.
But you know what, EC3 and Chris, from what everybody is talking about, Chris, all of that should no longer exist, right? The walking on eggshells, the afraid to speak up, a Triple H, bro. I mean, all of that should not exist. And I was talking about this with Al Snow today because Al is from the school of what EC3 said. Al says, Vince, F your writing. It really depends on the talent to make themselves a star. I mean, it really does come down to the talent. And like one of the things we were talking about, Chris and EC3, is Braun Breaker saying, I don't think it's a good idea that I lose to Sami Zayn. Yes. Okay, bro, like honestly, like him making that statement because losing to Sami Zayn hurt his brand. And what I don't understand, bro, is if Vince McMahon isn't there anymore, bro, and you don't got to be afraid of the mighty and powerful Oz, where if you go against them, you're done, then what is the problem? Because EC3's 100% correct, bro. Bro, if I'm working for the WWE, I don't know how EC3 feels about this. Chris, I got to be honest with you. If I'm working for them, I care about the Vince Russo brand. Number one, I don't care about your brand, bro. Yes, bro, I work for you. I ain't going to be working for you forever. So my number one priority is the Vince Russo brand. That is just business, bro.
EC3?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was in the situation fighting for my music. They say no. The next day I'd be on the phone contacting people I know that make music, and I would say, make me a song that sounds like this. And I would show up the next day with that song and say, proof of concept, as opposed to talking about things. A lot of times when people pitch something or they have an idea, they talk about it and they think it's going to go somewhere because you had a conversation with somebody, whether it's a Triple H, whether it's an agent, whether it's a producer, whether it's a writer. The second your conversation with them is over, that minute and a half you told them your great idea and you walk away, they have 20, 30, 40 people in line doing the same thing, where it's not no one's fault, but they can't remember that because that's like not the significant part of the business. It's not the big picture kind of thing. So in lieu of talking about it, showing up with the proof of concept, hey, I got this great idea for a character where I win all the time. Yeah, sounds good. See ya. Or here's a well thought out, articulate plan over a 6-week story structure that can introduce this character that is pretty hard to beat. Well, they're interesting. I can look at this and I have tangible evidence. But Vince is right. It's a mentality not a lot of people have. Even I'm sitting here like, yeah, when I went there, I was a team player, good soldier, employee, got me fired. So maybe Vince is right, and I should have been looking out for my brand, number one. Hey, we have this great idea where you come up and don't talk. That idea is stupid. I'm going to talk any way I can. If you're not going to put it on the main show, I'm going to be filming myself talking from the second I make an entrance till I get to the back. I'm going to be talking nonstop, and it'll be on socials, and you'll be tagged in it, and maybe the 3 million people watching at home won't see it, but maybe 750,000 will, and so they'll know the deal. And then eventually it would have caught on. So you do have to protect your brand.
Yeah, or even embellish. Okay, you don't want me to talk. I'm going to create some psychology with it. I'm going to go to a mic, and I'm about to pretend I'm about to say something, and then walk away every single time. And then all of a sudden the payoff is I'm finally talking after I won the championship, and whatever I say when I say it, you're going to hear me, because that makes it even more important for me when I do talk. So there you go. There you go.